I saw you jump on right as we wrapped up our chat. We were talking about the Flames head coaching vacancy. There's sort of a thought around the Dome that this could get wrapped up very quickly, that maybe internally a decision could be made as soon as today, and that we could expect an announcement later in this week, even Monday at the latest, is kind of being suggested. Is that consistent with what you're hearing?
It is, and I believe Mitch Love was the final candidate of the second round interviews that I think wrapped up on Tuesday or Wednesday, leading everyone to that speculation that a decision would be imminent. Now, if you go back and look at the playbook of how the Flames handled the Craig Conroy situation internally, I think he was also the final interview of the second round.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's a trend there, meaning they sort of think they have a real good idea of who the best in-house candidate is, and then proceeded from there. But, we've talked about Mitch Love for weeks now, if not months, as the sort of front runner and lead candidate. I don't envision a path in which the Calgary Flames have the, two-time AHL Coach of the Year, one of the best up-and-comers in the minor league system, and allow him to walk from the organization. It just doesn't make any sense.
One of Boomer's concerns that he's voiced a few times is that, okay, he's the former AHL coach coming up to the big club. On that staff, there's already 2 assistants that were former head coaches of the AHL club. I don't know that it matters that much. What do you think?
Yeah, I listened to you banter about it. I'm not as concerned. I think there will be someone, my guess, added to the staff that has NHL head coach experience. There's enough of them around that would be intrigued by this roster. I would guess that Kirk Muller, for instance, if he's out of the running now, I believe. I doubt he's going to be returning to the Calgary Flames in that same sort of associate coach position. They're going to need to bring in someone that has some of that NHL head coach experience, just as a sounding board advisor for Mitch Love. And maybe he has someone in mind, but short of that, I don't know them terribly well at all, but it doesn't seem like Ryan Huska and or Cale McLean, who, by the way, Cale McLean, I grew up watching here when he played in the minors near me. I don't see them as overwhelming personalities that are going to overshadow Mitch Love. I think he's got his own stance, stands on his own 2 feet. And, certainly I think is someone that he's got presence.
One thing to consider with it all, and I'm agreeing with the Mitch Love analysis, but I think something that's going to be important for the Flames organization as a whole is a connection to the community. So when you're considering coaches, I think it's going to be important that I wouldn't be surprised if there's a guy that has.
Okay, so it sounds like you know something, Rhett.
No, I don't. No. This is my own. I just know that how Conroy thinks, and I believe that there will be an emphasis put on guys that have been part of this community in the past.
Yeah.
And
give me an example. I'm not saying
Tanguay was an example. Tanguay is an example.
Alex Tanguay.
Someone in the comments is saying Bob Bugner, Mark Savard. These are guys that have been in Calgary and Connie would have ties to.
Okay, that makes sense. I don't have it dead nuts confirmed or for certain, but I would think that Tanguay was actually also part of the interview process for this position itself. So I don't know what his thought process is if he's not selected to then pivot to being maybe it's kind of actually what happened with Dave Nonis. If you think about it, he was interviewed for the job and then didn't get it. And then was, brought in as senior VP and AGM.
Okay. Bigger picture, stepping back, looking at the Flames, the chaotic offseason, we're through some of the heavy lifting. A head coach will be announced, and then you got to deal with, all these pending UFAs. But if I'm a fan over the last, 20, 30, 40 years since they got here, and I'm saying, hey, look, since 89, it's pretty much only been first-time GMs and first-time head coaches with a couple exceptions. Why will it work better this time? What would your answer be? Or should there be concern on that front that it's 2 theoretically green first-timers if it's a Mitch Love or Ryan Huska, and Connie is his first job?
Julian Brisebois seems to do okay in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
So does John Cooper.
Yeah.
I mean, they never had an NHL job at that position before now.
Yeah.
Go down the list. There's a long list of them that you have to get your start somewhere. You don't just wake up with 14 years of NHL GM experience. It's hard to come by. And I don't, this is going to sound really funny to say, like, there's a lot that goes into the position. So I'm not minimizing it by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
But if you have critical thought and you surround yourself with the right people, this job doesn't need to be overwhelming.
Yeah. Rhett said this for a while now.
I don't want to say it's not rocket science, but it's not
it's a lot of work. It's not rocket science. That's what it is. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of knowledge, but it's not, you're not building rockets to get, there's no science to it. It's information.
It takes conviction.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest things is having confidence in your ability to evaluate talent and trusting the people around you to do the things that you're not good at. Like, to me, that was one of the most refreshing things of Craig Conroy's press conference was he said, I don't know everything. I can't, like, no one person, no GM can be good at every facet of this business, whether it's ARB cases and the salary cap, or whether it's, mashing together the proper contracts that you need, amateur scouting, pro scouting, player development. There's going to be some running your minor league team. There's going to be some facet of this that you just, it's not what you're good at.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of being pig-headed and think that you can go do it all yourself, surround yourself with the right people and trust them and let them do their job.
100%.
That's what it comes down to.
100.